is officially 5 p.m. Eastern. I'm excited to be here with all of you all. This is my second live stream. My first live stream was about maybe 3 weeks ago, and people have been bugging me to do another one, so I decided to do one on understanding wallets. And if you guys are new, the Litecoin School of Crypto is geared specifically towards beginners. But I also have a lot of great content on my publication under Litecoin Technology. So that will have more detailed guides for you experienced traders out there. But if you're new to Litecoin or to cryptocurrency, I invite you to check out my newcomer's guides to crypto. They're pretty easy to understand. And yeah, hopefully it'll help you get started. Just to introduce myself, my name is eCurrencyHodler. You can call me E for short. I am a moderator of Litecoin and of Discord. And the topic that we're going to talk about today is Litecoin. It's an intro to Litecoin wallets. So let's just get started. If a wallet is where you keep your cash, then a Litecoin wallet is where you keep and manage your Litecoins. Once again, if a wallet is where you keep your cash, then a Litecoin wallet is where you keep and manage your Litecoins, right? So in order for you to better understand this, it might be helpful if you conceptualized it as a Litecoin wallet, like you would an email account. Okay, I think I have a picture for you guys. Yep, there it is. Cool. All right. So with an email account, you can do various things, right? Like you can receive emails and you can send emails and you can manage it, right? Well, it's kind of, so just like how you would log into an email account to access your emails, you would also use a Litecoin wallet to access your Litecoin, right? And just like how you would send emails to an email address, you would send Litecoin to a Litecoin address. And so this is one analogy or one metaphor that I found helpful when I talk to people about Litecoin and wallets and addresses, because one of the questions I get asked is like, where does the Litecoin exist? Where does it go? Well, Litecoins actually exist in the blockchain. And your Litecoin address is just simply like an email address where it gives you access to it. And so, yeah, hopefully this helps you guys understand what's going on. Now, generally speaking, there are two types of wallets that you can have. The first type of wallet is called a full node wallet client. The second type of wallet that you can have is called an SPV wallet client, or these are also known as light wallets. Right? And an example of a full node wallet is called Litecoin Core. And a full node means that it will not work until it downloads the whole blockchain. That means in order for that means your Litecoin Core wallet, it has to download the entire transactional history of Litecoin, because it uses it to verify whether your transaction is valid or not. Right? Because it's a ledger. It keeps a record of all the transactions, including yours. And so in order for you to spend, you got to reference the blockchain, you got to reference the ledger and make sure that the correct amount of Litecoin is in your blockchain or in your address. And you can only send it if it checks out. If it doesn't match up, then you can't send it. And so a full node wallet client downloads the whole history of the Litecoin. So for example, if you send one Litecoin from Litecoin Core, it's got to verify with the blockchain or the public ledger that your address actually holds one Litecoin to spend. Now this can kind of be a problem downloading the whole blockchain, because right now the Litecoin blockchain is about 12.83 gigabytes, and that can take a couple days for it to download. The good news is that you can find a bootstrap online and it'll make it faster to download. But this is one of the reasons why I don't recommend Litecoin Core for new users or people who just kind of struggle with understanding technology, because your wallet won't work unless you download the entire blockchain. You will not be able to send Litecoins, and your wallet won't even display the correct balance if it doesn't download the whole blockchain. And that could take a couple days. But people, when they first get into cryptocurrency, when they first get into Litecoin, they don't understand that, and they get really confused, and they try to do things and that they can't, and they get really frustrated. And so that's why I recommend Electrum LTC for newcomers, an SPV client or light client for newcomers. But if you are experienced and you want to use the full node wallet client called the Litecoin Core, you can do that by downloading it specifically from www.litecoin.org. Make sure you download it from verified Litecoin websites. Some of them are scams. Some websites are malicious. So just be careful out there. Make sure you double check that you are entering in the right address. So litecoin.org, litecoin.com, both of those work. And FYI, if you do choose to use a full node wallet, you should back it up in the form of a wallet.dat file. Wallet.dat file. Okay, so that's how you would back up your Litecoin Core. Now, the second type of wallet out there is called an SPV wallet. And an example of an SPV wallet or a light wallet is called Electrum LTC. SPV wallets clients are great for newcomers because they're essentially like a plug and play option, right? How SPV clients work is that instead of downloading the whole blockchain, the whole Litecoin blockchain, they simply use another person's full node as a reference. So instead of you having to download, what was it, like 12.83 gigabytes worth of data and host it on your computer, you can simply download an SPV wallet client like Electrum LTC, and that will let you spend Litecoins if you need to. And the reason it does that is because SPV wallet clients only download the headers of the blockchain, and so that's a lot less data that they need to keep. And they also use a full node as a reference to just to make sure that the amount of Litecoin you're trying to spend coincides with the Litecoin that you received. And so, yeah, so I recommend Electrum LTC. Download that from www.electrum-ltc.org. Stick it in a USB drive and take it off your computer and plug it in when you need to access it and take it off, because you're essentially turning that wallet into a cold wallet. And a cold wallet means that it's not connected to the internet and hackers can't get to it. So that's my advice for newcomers. If you have an SPV wallet or if you have Electrum-LTC wallet, stick it in a USB drive and just disconnect it and you're good to go. But I will say that please be careful that you do not download electrum.org's Electrum wallet, because that is specifically for Bitcoin. So if you try to send Litecoin to a Bitcoin 3 address, you're in trouble, because then your Litecoin will be spent, but it will be sent to a Bitcoin address. So just be careful. Make sure you're downloading the right hardware. electrumltc.org. Get it from there. All right? Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about are the different types of wallets that you can have. Sup, Jeremy? It's good to see you. All right. So this is just like a brief overview of the different types of wallets that you can have. And here we go. So number one are exchanges like Coinbase, GDAX, Poloniex. These are great for trading, but they're bad for holding. And the reason why is because you don't have access to your private keys if you have your Litecoins on an exchange. The exchange controls the private keys. And if you do not have the private keys, you cannot spend your Litecoin. And so an example of why this is a problem is that in July of 2017, BTCE, it's one of the longest exchanges that was running for cryptocurrencies, BTCE was seized by the FBI. And so all the funds that were hosted on this exchange were gone. They were gone. Nobody could access them. Why? Because the website was shut down. And then the FBI, I think they took some of the funds from BTCE and they put it under lockdown, and they put it as, I think, yeah, like whatever, evidence, yeah. And so if the FBI does that, then there's no way that you can spend your LTC. But if you have your private keys, then it doesn't matter. If you have access to your private keys, it doesn't matter if that exchange goes down. It doesn't matter if an FBI takes over Coinbase or GDAX or Poloniex. All that matters is that you have your private keys. That gives you access to your Litecoins. Okay. And a word of advice, if you do use an exchange, enable two-factor authorization. I use Google Authenticator, and it helps me out a lot. So just in the off chance that somebody steals your password, they also need to authenticate it through your phone. And so I strongly recommend 2FA, two-factor authentication, because it'll greatly help increase securing your online exchange account. And yeah, so that's the first type of wallet that you can use to store your Litecoins, and it's great for trading, but it's really bad for long-term holding. The next type of wallet is an online wallet, and a great example of this is litevault.com. It's actually hosted by some guy. He's a good friend of mine. Go talk to him on Discord and stuff. He's a pretty chill dude. When you use a Litevault, you can also try to you can try to enable 2FA as well. Okay. Again, one of the problems with online wallets is that if the website goes down, if it's DDoS, or for whatever reason it gets overloaded with traffic, you won't be able to access your Litecoins. So it's better. I personally believe that you should keep your Litecoins in a desktop wallet or a mobile wallet or a wallet where you can easily access and it's not dependent on the internet. The third type of wallet is a mobile wallet. Loafwallet is a Litecoin mobile wallet that the Litecoin Foundation has produced, and it's great. I love it. It's had a little bit of issues. If you do have issues, just reach out to me. I have a guide that I can send you, and it's fairly easy to recover if you just follow my step-by-step guide. But what I do want to say with mobile wallets is that you should absolutely write down your seed keys right away. Because, for example, what if loafwallet, the app just constantly crashes? Well, you'll need to be able to access your Litecoin again if your app doesn't open. You can do that if you have your seed keys. So as soon as you get your mobile wallet, as soon as you download loafwallet, I strongly recommend that you write down your seed keys, because that's security. That's backing up your Litecoins. That's hedging against any risk of, I don't know, your phone dying, your app not working, or anything like that. So write down your seed keys. It's very important. And as a side note, there are other types of wallets. So the types of wallets that I've talked about so far is just for Litecoin. But there are other wallets that you can have that are multi-coin wallets. And an example of a multi-coin wallet would be maybe Jax or Exodus, but also hardware wallets like Ledger and Trezor, okay? Which is, that's on point number 5. But the next type of wallet that we have are desktop wallets, and I briefly talked about both of these. You have the full node wallet, from which an example of is Litecoin Core, and then you have your Lite wallet, which is Electrum LTC. Now, you can back up your full node client, your Litecoin Core client, with a wallet DAT file. Okay, so you want to copy that, click on File, go down to Backup, and make sure you save that onto your desktop or wherever you think is safe. And that will make sure that if you ever delete Litecoin Core by accident, your computer dies by accident, you will always be able to recover your Litecoins if you have your wallet.dat file. Next is a Lite wallet, Electrum LTC. Again, this is the same concept as loafwallet. Write down your seed keys as soon as you open it, as soon as you get it. This will help you recover your Litecoins. And the great thing is that, like, let's say, like your computer dies and you lose access to your Litecoins. All you would have to do is go to a different computer, download Electrum LTC again, input your seed keys, and bam, you have access to your Litecoin again. That's the great thing about seed keys and wallet.dat files, that you can access them from different locations because your Litecoins exist in the blockchain. All your wallet clients do is give you access to your Litecoins. Okay, so it's, and if you choose, you can encrypt both your full node and your Lite wallet with a password if you want. You can encrypt Litecoin Core and Electrum LTC with a password, but make sure you remember it or write it down somewhere safe, because man, if you lose it, then you can't access your Litecoins. And I get so many people on the subreddit who they regularly post and say, "Oh man, I forgot my password," and there's nothing that you can do. Like, you'd have to just brute force it and just try thousands and thousands of different password combinations until you get it right. Okay. All right. The next option is the next type of wallet is called hardware wallets, and there are two that I put called the Ledger wallet and then Trezor. Now, Ledger wallet is, I have the Ledger and it is fantastic. I love it. It's really secure. It's really easy to use. And it also functions as a cold wallet. Even though it's plugged into your computer, it still functions as a cold wallet because it isolates the private keys inside a hardware device. And the Trezor does the same thing. So they're both really good options. So if you're looking to spend about, I don't know, $90, $60, sometimes the price fluctuates, and you want to secure your investment in Litecoin or other cryptocurrencies, I strongly recommend buying a hardware wallet because it gives you peace of mind. And as a side note, you should probably do research as to what specific coins these hardware wallets support. Okay, because these are multi-coin wallets, but they don't support all the coins, all the thousands of coins on CoinMarketCap that you see. So it's probably best that you do your research, find out what coins that these hardware wallets support. Cool. And finally is paper wallets. Now you can create a paper wallet very easily on liteaddress.org, and it's reliable, it's trustworthy. And here I got one of these questions in the AMA, or in one of the questions through SurveyMonkey. And so what I decided to do was just give you guys a brief summary of how you would create a paper wallet. All right, it's really easy. Steps 1, 2, 3. Go to liteaddress.org and wiggle your mouse until an address pops up. And what it will show you is it'll show you both the address and the private key. Well, it'll show you that in both written down as well as in the form of a QR code. Print out the QR codes that you see of both the private and the public key. And I recommend that you write down what the LTC address and the public key is legibly, right? And then after you print those out, put them in a safe place. So it's pretty easy to use, and it is considered a cold wallet because it's not connected to the internet, and it's a pretty secure way. And if you ever want to know how to restore your wallet or to regain access to your Litecoin from a paper wallet, all you would have to do is download loafwallet and scan the private keys. Or what you can do is download Electrum LTC. You can download Electrum LTC, and you can enter in your Litecoin address and your private key. So the picture that I just threw up there for you guys kind of depicts to you and explains the correlation, or how to think about Litecoin addresses and private keys, right? Earlier in the live stream, I mentioned that you would send emails to an email address. It's the same thing. You would send Litecoin to a Litecoin address. But in order to enter or to gain access to the Litecoins, you need a password, just like you would for an email client. So that's the equivalent of your private keys. You cannot access your Litecoins unless you have your password or your private key. Just like how you can't access your email without your password. Cool? Hey Zimmy, yeah, it'll definitely be uploaded onto my channel, so subscribe, and I will post it later, and I'll put some timestamps in there for you so you can just skip through the topics you want to read through. Thanks for checking it out. Alright, now I am going to briefly talk about how you would use a Litecoin wallet. And the picture that I'm going to throw up there, is the screenshot, is of a Electrum LTC wallet. And I just thought it'd be good for me to go over this real quick, just because I actually get a lot of questions about, like, how do I send Litecoin to my address? How do I send Litecoin to my wallet, right? So I'm going to break this down for you real quick. On most wallets, you'll have tabs that say send or receive addresses. Those are the three, or history, send, and receive. Sometimes they won't show addresses. But let's say you download Electrum LTC, you bought Litecoin on Coinbase, right? And so what you would do is you would first click on receive on Electrum, and then it will show you an address, a Litecoin address. Copy paste that, go back into Coinbase, paste that into Coinbase, and withdraw. Okay, so that's how you would get the Litecoins from Coinbase into Electrum. And addresses here on Electrum LTC, if you click on addresses, that gives you a whole list of Litecoin addresses that are generated from your seed keys on Electrum LTC. Okay, and it's okay to reuse addresses, even if you have loafwallet. And loafwallet, what it does is you have one Litecoin address, and then when you send money to it, it switches Litecoin addresses automatically for you. If you were to send Litecoin to the same address that you did, your loafwallet would still receive it, and that's okay. But the reason why loafwallet automatically switches the addresses for you is to help protect your identity. And it's safer, it increases anonymity. Because if you constantly reuse the same address and it's tied to a social account or whatever, people can keep track of how much Litecoins you've got. They can keep track of how much Litecoins you own because you're sending it to the same address. But if you spread it out to different addresses, then it increases on an anonymity for you. Okay, so that's just something to kind of consider. All right, let's say you sent Litecoin to Coinbase and you've held on for about a year and you've realized like 1,000,000% gains, which you're super stoked about. How do you send it back to Coinbase? Well, what you would do is you would first go to Coinbase, go to accounts, generate a Litecoin address, copy paste that, and paste that into this Electrum LTC wallet. Click on send, paste it in the pay to section, enter the amount of LTC that you want to send, and then and then push send, and then it'll send all the Litecoin or the amount that you input into to Coinbase. So that's how you would do it. Hopefully that was clear, and I hope you guys enjoyed that explanation. All right, so we are now go into, I'm gonna answer some of the questions that you guys asked, and then after that we'll have a short AMA. I'll hang out and chat with you guys in the chat box below. Here we go. Hey CoinAxis, it's good to see you, buddy. This guy CoinAxis is a pretty staunch Litecoin supporter. I really appreciate some of the tweets that he tweets. So good job, man. Especially like the volume one that you said, how the volume of Litecoin indicates that the price of Litecoin should be higher, and I definitely agree with that. So I appreciate that. So the first question I have is, what is the safest wallet? In my opinion, the safest wallet are hardware wallets like Ledger or Trezor. Yeah, you can do paper wallets. Those are awesome as well. Now, how do they differ from one another? More specifically, what are some things to be cautious or extra aware when deciding on whether or not to use a particular service? Yeah, so you know what? One of the things I've noticed is that now that we're in the age of information, people get overloaded. And having that gut feeling of knowing what's a scam and what's not a scam, it's very intuitive and it's kind of hard to teach. But what I would say is make sure, one of the things that I do is whenever I come across a website or an exchange, what I do is like I go on Reddit, I go on Google, and I look at social validation. How many people are commenting about it? How many people are using that platform? And the more people that use that platform, the more I have assurance that it's probably legit. But it also helps to network and talk to people who are already in the space and who are already familiar, who can guide you through this process. So I definitely have my recommendations. I shared those with you earlier on in this live stream. So you have my recommendations of what are legitimate and verified websites to download from. Now, when it comes to what kind of wallet that you want to hold, it's all about, honestly, it's all about convenience versus security, right? So it's all about convenience. Oh, thanks, Pizza Squirrel. Yeah, dude, Barbara Evans, we need some more positive reviews. I think people are getting frustrated because of the because sometimes it crashes for some people, so that's unfortunate. But I think they're coming out with a fix soon. All right, yeah, convenience versus security. Multi-coin wallets. So people like I said, hardware wallets are most secure, but the trade-off is that it is expensive, so it's not very convenient. And the advantage is that it can host multiple coins. Another example is Jax. It's actually, okay, when it comes to free services like Jax and other things, like the safest method is to individually host or hold your coins in separate wallets. And the reason is because if an attacker gets access to one of your wallets, they get access to everything. But if you hold and host your coins in separate wallets, if they get access to one wallet, that's only like what, 10% of your portfolio. right? So if you want absolute security, then I would say be paranoid. Separate your coins, have different wallets for everything. But on the flip side, I know that's very inconvenient. So it's understandable if you want to try a multi-coin wallet. All right, the next question I have is, what are the available SegWit enabled Litecoin wallets? As far as I know, Ledger and Trezor both have SegWit addresses, and that's great. And Electrum LTC, I know, okay, so electrum.org, the Bitcoin Electrum wallet, they support SegWit. And I know Pooler is working on an Electrum LTC, Pooler is working on a SegWit version for Electrum LTC. Okay. So those are the ones that I know. If you guys know of other wallets that support SegWit, post them in the chat below. I'll shout it out. All right, why are there no SegWit wallets for LTC on Android? Even loafwallet doesn't have that feature. How difficult is it to implement SegWit? All right, here. So that's okay. So honestly, I am not a developer. I am not a coder. So that question was a bit over my head. And so what I had to do was I had to contact people who actually create the wallets. And one person that got back to me is from Bread Wallet. If Loaf Wallet is a fork of Bread Wallet, and this is what the creator of Bread Wallet said. So short answer is that SegWit implementation might change in the future. So if they support SegWit addresses now, then they'll have to add another support for the new SegWit address. And so it's kind of like they don't want to implement it now because they feel like SegWit addresses are going to change again, and they don't want to go through the hassle of supporting the SegWit addresses for right now because a change is happening in the future. But to kind of explain a little bit more, this is what he wrote. Currently, for Bread Wallet, they use legacy address in a chain of private keys. That means you can recover your wallet with your paper key and recreate the same chain of addresses. And your wallet asks the Bitcoin network about each address for each block in the blockchain. So he's basically saying, look, we have legacy addresses and we have your seed keys, which generate a whole host of legacy addresses, right? But adding current SegWit implementation would require a second change to preserve privacy. And so they would have to support a second layer or a second implementation for SegWit addresses that would be separate for legacy. And so this would just be problematic because if a new format of SegWit comes out, then they'll have to add a third chain to support it. And if you have all of these options available between the legacy, the old SegWit, and the new SegWit addresses, they would have to think through how would people be able to recover their coins? How would they be able to recover their coins from the three different sets of chains and addresses? And so it's something technical that they've got to figure out. And also, one of the things that you should know is one of the reasons why SegWit is a soft fork is that there are specifically SegWit nodes that process and record SegWit transactions. And then you have regular nodes that do not. But the trip is that these old nodes that don't host or support SegWit, what they do is they see the SegWit transaction in the blockchain and they just simply ignore it. So in order to offer support, SegWit support in these addresses, they've got to write the code, build the library, and also host a SegWit node for people to reference to. So that's some of the technical challenges for trying to integrate SegWit into Bread Wallet or SPV wallets or mobile wallets. Okay, almost all mobile wallets are SPV wallets. I think Luke Dash Jr. tweeted out maybe like a month ago, 2 months ago, there being a full node mobile wallet. Not sure how that really worked out, but I think it's because it downloads just one block and prunes the rest. So I think that's how they justified calling that a full node wallet. All right, the third question is, having to handle these cryptic public addresses is not very appealing for regular people. Is the Litecoin team working on a solution that lets you send coins to a regular name like Charlie Lee, which is linked to the public address? Well, as of the moment, not as far as I know. One of the things I was sort of thinking through is what if loafwallet was tied to phone numbers, right? Because we all have phone numbers. It's a mobile wallet. So what if I sent it to your phone number and it pinged your loafwallet, and therefore, and then you can make your transactions that way, right? And so you wouldn't have to put in the crazy long alphanumeric numbers that are typically associated with Litecoin addresses. By the way, if you steal this idea, I'm going to be very mad. But one of the challenges that is that you have to host all that information, all the phone numbers, all the mapping to get from loafwallet to your phone numbers on a centralized server, and that's something that the Litecoin Foundation team is not fond of, and they want things to be decentralized, which is absolutely true and absolutely on point. We want things to be decentralized. All right. Question number 4. There are rumors that Facebook will add a crypto wallet in its Messenger website. What are your thoughts on this? Would this be the start of mainstream adoption? Just the very fact that Mark Zuckerberg, the very fact that Mark talked about cryptocurrency in his statement on Facebook, mainstream adoption is happening. That's huge. Okay. I sincerely believe that 2018 is going to be the year of adoption. So yeah, the time to get into cryptocurrency and it still being early, that window is fading fast. So yeah, help us spread the word. Get the word out. Talk to your friends, your parents, your uncles, your family members, your friends. Let's get Litecoin adopted. More people use it, the more valuable it gets. All right, the next question I have is there any wallet which converts passphrase protected private keys while sweeping? I'm assuming you encrypted a wallet with a password and want to know if there's a way to decrypt it because you forgot your password. So no, there's nothing you can do. You're gonna have to brute force that. I'm sorry, dude. You're you're out of luck. That's really unfortunate. All right, next question. Is there a way to sync a wallet to cold storage just like how I back up my computer? Maybe Coinbase or loafwallet? No. Syncing means you're downloading the blockchain. So you need to be connected to the internet to sync, to download the blockchain. But in order to make things go faster, bootstraps are available. All right, next question. Have you made one out of duct tape? Oh, no. But maybe I will, just for kicks and giggles. Next question. Some exchanges do not accept addresses where the first character is an M. Why? Well, okay. So M addresses are SegWit addresses. Now, Bitcoin and Litecoin shared the 3-address format previously, but it was really confusing for users. So many users kept sending Litecoin to Bitcoin 3 SegWit addresses that the Litecoin development team, they decided to switch the format for SegWit addresses to M addresses. So that's why we see M addresses, right? So why do exchanges not accept this? Well, simply because they censor it. They censor it. I personally don't know why. Maybe it's because it's more work for them. Probably with all the forks that happened in 2017, it really wasn't a priority for them. But Coinbase, gosh, or Bitrex or Poloniex, if you guys could support M addresses, that would save me a lot of grief, because I have man, there was a period during December where I was every single day I was helping people recover Litecoin from Bitcoin 3 addresses, and that was a struggle. It hasn't been as much anymore because I think it was a huge pump in December, so people were really excited. But yeah, it would be great if they can get on that. All right, here we go. This question I'm a little bit excited to answer. What role do you expect Litecoin to play in the coming months, years, among the emerging cryptocurrency market? Is it an innovator? Is it a leader? Well, you can, okay. I see it as a leader, hands down. Technologically, it is faster to implement protocols on Litecoin than it is Bitcoin. And SegWit was a great example of that. We saw that in 2017. But another exciting development that is happening that Charlie Lee proposed is adding minimum fees in blockchain headers. Now, this is fantastic. This is freaking brilliant, because what it does is, I think why he started doing this was because like 2-3 weeks ago, there was a period where transactions were just getting stuck and pending forever because the fees were too low. And the reason why that's an issue is because people kept on sending high fees, and therefore it pushed the lower fees out of the meme pool. I wrote an article on Litecoin transaction fees and how the fee market kind of worked in the past 2-3 weeks. I'll put that in the description below for you guys to read and to reference. But introducing minimum fees in market headers is fantastic, specifically for SPV wallets, light wallet clients, because what it does is that you can stop guessing. You can stop guessing as to what the minimum fee a miner will be willing to accept, and it'll stop transactions from pending. So you'll know with pretty good confidence that your transaction is going to go through. And this is something that hasn't been done in any other blockchain. And so this type of innovation comes straight from the top, comes straight from Charlie Lee, and it's really exciting. We'll see how it works. He created a Litecoin improvement protocol. It's about time. It's the equivalent of a Bitcoin improvement protocol GitHub repo, and it'll be really, really cool. It'll be cool to see people utilizing it. It'll be exciting to see how it works out on Litecoin, and just this is a great example of how Litecoin can be a testbed for other cryptocurrencies to include a minimum fee inside the blockchain header for SPV clients to read. And I think it'll go well. I really, really do. All right, next question. When Moon? Seriously, though, if you have your BTC or LTC in a SegWit address, will you still receive a fork coin? Well, it depends on if that specific coin will support SegWit. It depends on whether or not that specific coin that is being forked supports SegWit. All right. So there's your answer. If it does support SegWit, then yes, you can grab that. If it doesn't support SegWit, then you should keep it in a legacy address. All right. What plans for the future does the marketing team have? What are your thoughts on updating the Litecoin logo? I think a simple and clean logo could do wonders, but the current one with striped background isn't very sexy. Okay, personally, I think it's a solid logo. When you download Litecoin Core and it shows up on the dock, it looks really clean. So I don't know. I like it. I understand that it doesn't have pizzazz or any dazzle, but yeah. Okay, so other people from the subreddit, the r/Litecoin subreddit, they've submitted Litecoin logos, and I've used them. I've used them in my in my posters. I create posters for people to print out and post on in their cities. I do that, and we're open source. So if you can create a great logo, a cool looking logo, send it to me. I'd be happy to use it in my articles, in my publication, in my posters. As for what does the Litecoin Foundation have for marketing? What kind of plans? Well, we actually had a live stream about our marketing efforts. I included a link in the description below. One of the first things that we're doing is it's through community involvement and participation. So the idea is you complete activities through alwayshold.com/Litecoin, And yeah, and then you earn points, and the more people you tell, the more people you get to buy shirts, the more points you rack up. And so it's kind of more of a decentralized approach, more of accessing the Litecoin community as opposed to paying for products or something, or paying for ad services or commercials. But the fundamental idea is that if you wear a Litecoin shirt, then people will ask you questions about it, and it'll empower you to kind of share about Litecoin. All right. But yeah, I'm on the Slack with the Litecoin Foundation, and it's pretty interesting. I'll tell you that we are working on a more focused marketing approach. And there are a couple marketing projects in the works that I think are really, really great, and I'm really excited about. So hopefully that answers your questions, and be hopeful. I think the foundation is making a concerted effort to focus more on advertising. I think previously the idea or the desire was to have like a separate organization focused on Litecoin advertising, but unfortunately that didn't really pan out. Something like how there's the Ethereum Alliance, right? I think the foundation kind of wanted the Litecoin community to step up and build their own organization like that. But I don't know, if you're into business and you know how to network and you know how to build something like the Ethereum Alliance, let me know. Maybe we can try to start something like that. But for right now, what we have available are these things. It's buying shirts, participating in campaigns, and we have a couple marketing projects that you should look forward to that I think will be great. All right, we're almost done. When will Lightning Network RSK atomic swaps be implemented into Litecoin? When will Litecoin Trezor's special edition wallet will be available for the public? And when will LTC be available on Gemini Exchange? All right. When will Lightning Network be available? In 2 weeks. Just kidding. I personally think that it will be production ready mid to late 2018. Lop recently tweeted, Jameson Lop recently tweeted that it might be ready within a few months, maybe mid 2018. So that's a possibility. I believe I just like to push it out later, late 2018, just because to temper expectations, or else people start getting really anxious. As for atomic swaps, it might take maybe 2-3 more months after that, after it gets released on production level, for atomic swaps to be fully functional and available, because you got to develop the wallet on top of the Lightning Network to do that. So that's why I say maybe 2019 for atomic swaps. As for RSK, it really depends on the development team. I know it's on their to-do list. They've mentioned it on Twitter, and they're looking to implement it onto Litecoin. But right now, I think they're so focused on Bitcoin and making sure that is problem free. So yeah. As for Litecoin on Gemini, I have no idea. It's pretty frustrating, honestly. Maybe I'll tweet them today. But it's pretty frustrating why they don't accept Litecoin, because man, we have high volume. We have like maybe the third or fourth highest volume on CoinMarketCap. So I think they are missing out. They are missing out on a ton of money by not adding Litecoin support. And hundreds of people, like I've seen so many posts on the subreddit about people asking Gemini to add Litecoin on its exchange, but I don't know. It doesn't look like they're going to be doing it anytime soon. All right, next question. This is a bit more technical question. What are the flaws in Script as compared to SHA-256? If you didn't know, Bitcoin uses SHA-256 mining algorithm. Litecoin uses the Script mining algorithm. Well, as far as I know, I could be wrong. As far as I know, there are no known vulnerabilities of SHA-256. Barbara, you're right. Gemini is totally afraid of LTC overtaking BTC. 100%. All right. But there are no known flaws to SHA-256 at the moment. But Script, the difference between SHA-256 and Script is that Script is memory hard. So what that means is that it requires RAM while SHA doesn't. So Bitcoin miners cannot they cannot mine Litecoin because they don't have the equipment, the necessary RAM to mine script. Now, this is huge. It's a huge advantage because when you look at the Bitcoin network and the Bitcoin Cash network, the miners are fluctuating between Bitcoin and Litecoin, and it's ruining both networks because the miners, they're alternating between what is most profitable for them, right? And it makes sense. Miners are supposed to be influenced by money, by making money. But here's the thing. There was, I think maybe last week, Litecoin, it took an hour for blocks to be created. And the reason is because you had all these miners focusing on SHA-256 mining algorithms, and then that increased the hashing difficulty really high, and then all of a sudden it was gone because it switched to the Bitcoin Cash network. And so you have smaller, less efficient computers trying to mine a very, very high complex problem. And that's why instead of taking 10 minutes, it took like an hour. So it ruins how fast these transactions can be processed on the Bitcoin network. And the same thing happened with the Bitcoin Cash network. So this is one of the huge advantages for why Litecoin adds script, because it is completely different from SHA-256. ASIC miners for Bitcoin cannot mine Litecoin. So that is a huge win. And if it could, oh man, it would be really worrisome because I think the Litecoin network would just get demolished. Because what miners would do is they would mine the hell out of Litecoin, solve these problems really fast for like 2 weeks, and then just leave. And then it will leave you with just high hash rates with low power computers so that wouldn't work out. Maybe one disadvantage of script is that it is a bit more expensive to build because you got to add extra RAM memory. So hopefully that answered your question. I think that's what you're going for. If you're not, I'm sorry. Reach out to me and we'll have a bigger discussion. All right, last question, and then I'll kind of chat and hang out in the chat box. How much do you really feel is the value of one Litecoin in US dollars? Well, one Litecoin, $1, 2018. You heard it here. I think Crypto Queen tweeted it first, or Litecoin Queen. But $1,000 in 2018, and eventually 2019, one Lite will equal $10. So that's what I'm looking forward to. All right. I am now officially heading over to the chat box. Let's chat and let's see if I can answer some of the questions that you have. Okay, go harder, get bigger. Do you think Litecoin credit cards will be a big thing or will they flop? That's kind of interesting because there was a recent news where Visa debit cards for Bitcoin I think they discontinued service, and so it wasn't specifically because they were targeting Bitcoin or anything like that, but it had to do with the service. So yeah, we'll see how that works. I think having Litecoin in a Visa card, like a Visa debit card, will only help. It will only help adoption because that's what people are used to. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. I think it's a good thing, and I hope it gets adopted. But yeah. So how about the specific service that Visa discontinued services with was called Wavecrest. So yeah. And a lot of the Bitcoin debit card used Wavecrest service to function, to process on the Visa network. And so because Visa suspended Wavecrest activities, a lot of the debit cards stopped working. So that's unfortunate. Hopefully they'll get that resolved soon. So it's not a war on Bitcoin or a cryptocurrency. Wavecrest, I guess Visa thought they were doing something shady, so that's why. $10? $10 for one light? Hell yeah, the ARC. That's what I think. I really think $10, one Litecoin, $10,000, 2018. Any idea where the currency bill in Congress stands, making crypto under $800 as a currency? I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. Here, let me try Googling that. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. But I hope they pass it, because that'd be huge. Because think about it right now. I think like, because once you receive Litecoin as a merchant, you count that as payment, right? But then the problem is, if you cash out, because the IRS might classify it as an asset, you might have to pay capital gains on that. So that doesn't make sense. So hopefully that what they'll do is they'll pass this law so that any purchases under $800 will be counted straight up as currency, and that's it. But I will say one of the last greatest hurdles for Litecoin adoption is fiat sweeps. So I will say that supposedly LitePay is going to be integrating fiat sweeps. What fiat sweeps basically means that if you as a merchant receive Litecoin as a payment, the merchant processor will immediately sweep it into US dollars or euros or whatever currency that you need. And merchants love that aspect because it mitigates risk and volatility. So yeah. Another huge big development is LTC Pay. LTC Pay is a fork of BitPay and a fork of BTC Pay, and LTC Pay is also working on integrating fiat sweeps. So that's really exciting. I think that'll be really cool, and it's open source, so anybody can contribute. Anybody can literally steal that code and port it onto the business, and you don't have to pay anyone anything. So if you are an entrepreneur and you're good with coding, look at LTC Pay. It'll save you tons of money that you wouldn't have to pay a merchant processor. All right. All cryptocurrency is currency. Shouldn't be limited to 800. Yeah, I mean, ideally that would be the case. The argument can be slightly different for ERC20 tokens, where it's more of a utility token as opposed to being used as a currency. But yeah, Barbara, my advice would just be to keep records. Hopefully you've kept records of what price point you bought your Litecoins at. And if you haven't sold anything, you don't have to pay taxes on those. That's why hodling is such a great strategy. It saves you so much money. It saves you money on the gains that you're going to get, and it saves you money on paying taxes. So yeah, I mean, don't sell your Litecoins for at least a year. You can avoid the capital gains tax by holding onto your Litecoins and not selling for at least 1 year. Cool. All right. Do I think Facebook will go as rumored and implement Litecoin into Messenger as some kind of project, or will they another crypto? Honestly, okay, so here's my thing about Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, and him posting about decentralization. Facebook is one of the most centralized data user services in the entire world. So it's kind of ironic that he's talking about decentralizing services and cryptocurrency. So my hunch, because of that, my hunch is that he's probably going to come out with his own currency to put onto Facebook. Because man, can you just imagine if Facebook did an ICO? I mean, Kik did an ICO for its messaging platform. I mean, it's worth nothing right now. Like the value dropped so fast of Kik token. But I can just imagine Facebook doing an ICO specifically for a cryptocurrency geared towards their platform and just cashing in billions off of that. So yeah, man, that's That's my 2 cents on whether Facebook will integrate Litecoin payments. I don't think so. I don't. If I were to guess, I would say that Facebook would probably create their own cryptocurrency. All right, I am 3 minutes left, guys, before I hit my 1 hour mark, and then I'm gonna head out. Any more questions? All right. Looks like I answered all of them. Well, thank you very much for joining me on understanding Litecoin wallets. Hopefully you found this informational. I really appreciate all of these questions that you guys submitted through SurveyMonkey. Oh, couple questions. How will confidential transactions work? All right, I'll briefly answer this and then I'll close this session out. All right, how will confidential transactions work? All right, here we go. Get ready. It's going to be a lot of information. I'm actually going to write an article on this, a detailed article. It'll probably have to be 2 articles explaining it because it's really complicated. But basically, your address would have to be attached to another address that would be called a confidential address. And so your confidential, I forget the specific term, but your public Litecoin address would have to be tied to another alphanumeric number. And so that obfuscates your Litecoin address. And then also it allows you to, and then you take that same alphanumeric number that you added to the Litecoin public address and you add it to the amount. So normally in a transaction, you have the Litecoin address and how much Litecoin was sent there. Well, in confidential transactions, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to include this key, this confidential transaction key to both the amount and the Litecoin address. And what this does is that, and then from there, after you add it, you hash it into another string of numbers. And so what goes out on the network is an obfuscated amount of Litecoin transactions that goes onto the Litecoin network. And so you cannot see how much Litecoin is in an address. Now this is great because it increases fungibility, right? It increases Litecoin's ability for it to remain as a strong currency. Now if you look at Monero's addresses, if you want an example of what I'm talking about, if you look at Monero's addresses, you'll see it's almost twice as long as a Litecoin address. And the reason why is because they're implementing the same idea. Okay, now, but the question is, if you obfuscate the amount that you are sending to a Litecoin address, well, how do you know, how does the node know how much Litecoin is in there? Well, what you need to do is you need to grab the key that was previously added onto the address and on the amount, and you can use that, and you can use that to audit your Litecoin address. Okay, so you can hand that to, I don't know, a friend who wants to see how much Litecoin is in your address, or an auditor or the government or whatever, if they want to see or gain access to how many Litecoins that you have in your Litecoin address. And one of the things that kind of gets complicated is they're going to be doing something called ring signatures, because the number of the amount number is obfuscated inside the address. All the Litecoin address or the network will care about is whether it equals 0. So let's say you sent 1 Litecoin into the address. Well, it can be when you spend that, you can say, oh, I had about 100 Litecoins, and I think I'm sending like a fee of 99 Litecoins or something like that, right? Well, what ring signatures does is it limits that number to 0 to 5. So it knows that there's a specific number between 0 to 5 that matches the criteria to spend the Litecoin address. Okay. And then the last bit, which I don't think they're 100% sure that they're going to implement, is something called coin join. And basically it's when you send a bunch of Litecoins to a giant pot. And in this pot, they mix all the Litecoins around and then they send it out to other addresses. And so that will help obfuscate Litecoin addresses, because no longer is it strictly your one specific Litecoin going to another address. What it does, it lumps all the Litecoin transactions together and then into one giant sum, and then it breaks that into one Litecoin to a different address. So you'll still get one Litecoin, but it'll just be broken down from different addresses collectively, and that will help again keep your anonymity. Yeah. Anyways, that was kind of, I didn't explain that as well as I could. Sorry about that. Thanks, P-Dog. I'm glad you subscribed. Appreciate that. All right, I think I'm done. Thank you guys so much. You guys are great. Hopefully, you enjoyed this and it was informational. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and share it with your friends. These are definitely geared toward newcomers, so let them know. Let them know. Let them know about the live stream, about my content, and all that stuff. Keep it real, guys. Love you all. Bye.